Andy Goodrich wakes up early one morning in his quiet, luxurious home, preparing for another day at his art gallery. Everything feels routine and predictable. However, the calm morning is interrupted by a phone call from his wife. Her voice sounds distant and exhausted. With little explanation, she reveals that she has checked herself into a rehabilitation center and plans to stay there for 90 days. Before Andy can even process the information, another shocking statement follows. When the program ends, she might want a divorce. The call ends abruptly, leaving Andy sitting in stunned silence. In a single moment, the life he knew seems to collapse. It doesn't take long for a much bigger problem to appear. The possible divorce isn't the only crisis. Two 9-year-old twins now depend entirely on him. Completely unprepared for parenting, Andy struggles with even the most basic responsibilities. School schedules slip his mind, daily routines fall apart, and the kids quickly recognize that their father has absolutely no idea what he's doing. While Andy attempts to adapt to life as a full-time parent, his professional world begins to crumble as well. The art gallery that once thrived is now facing serious financial trouble. Younger artists are becoming more popular, trends in the art world are shifting, and Andy increasingly feels like he's being pushed aside. During meeting with investors and artists, he tries to appear confident. Yet behind that confidence lies a harsh truth. The gallery is slowly slipping out of his control. Now Andy is facing two disasters at once, a failing career and a collapsing family. Understanding that raising the twins alone is nearly impossible, Andy reaches out to someone he hasn't been close with for years, his adult daughter Grace. Growing up, Grace rarely had her father around. Work always came first for Andy, and the emotional distance between them never truly healed. When he asks for help with the twins, Grace reluctantly agrees. However, she makes one thing clear: the past hasn't been forgotten. Despite the tension, she gradually becomes the one person helping him survive this overwhelming situation. As the days pass, Andy slowly learns what real parenting looks like. Early school drop-offs, homework struggle, and constant responsibility replace the carefree life he once enjoyed. At first, everything feels like a temporary inconvenience.
Over time, things begin to shift. Andy realizes how much he missed while chasing success. First time in years, he genuinely spends time with his children, and surprisingly, he enjoys it. Caring for the twins also forces Andy and Grace to interact more. Their conversations are initially awkward, filled with tension. Grace holds on to years of resentment and doesn't hesitate to remind him of his past mistakes. Gradually, however, their relationship softens. Andy listens more, argues less, and stops defending his choices, focusing instead on understanding the harm he caused. He starts being present, not just for the twins, but for Grace too. Meanwhile, Andy desperately searches for a way to save his struggling gallery. One evening, he meets Lola after seeing her perform at a club. She's looking for someone experienced in the art world to sell her mother's valuable collection. For Andy, it seems perfect. The gallery has been losing money, and acquiring the collection could attract wealthy collectors, restore attention, and possibly rebuild his reputation. Excitement grows, and for the first time in months, Andy feels hope. He envisions a successful exhibition, a bustling gallery, and his career recovering. But the hope is short-lived. Lola later returns with bad news. Another buyer offered more, and the collection is gone. The opportunity vanishes, and Andy faces the harsh truth that both his personal and professional lives are unraveling. As the 90-day mark approaches, reflection is inevitable. Years spent obsessing over work came at a steep price. Family. The twins have begun relying on him, and Grace cautiously allows him back. Slowly, Andy learns an important truth. Fatherhood cannot be partial. It demands patience, presence, and sacrifice, qualities he had long avoided. By the time his wife leaves rehab, Andy has changed. He has learned to care for the twins, begun repairing his relationship with Grace, and discovered a crucial lesson. Family requires showing up every day. Yet complications arise. Grace is pregnant and preparing a new life with her husband. Andy struggles to hide his judgment, even calling him a nerd. The remark sparks tension. Grace reminds him of his absence during her childhood, but despite the conflict, they continue rebuilding their bond while raising the twins together. As Grace's pregnancy advances, she hopes for Andy's support. He promises to attend a doctor's appointment, but misses it due to work and chaos. Furious, Grace feels history repeating itself. The father who failed her before fails again. Their argument escalates until suddenly, Grace collapses in labor. Andy springs into action, helping her to the hospital. While waiting, he stays by her side. Grace notices him crying, vulnerable and remorseful. Exhausted, he eventually falls asleep, only to be awakened by the nurse with good news. Grace has delivered successfully. Andy holds his newborn grandchild, overwhelmed. It is not just a birth. It signifies a fresh start for the family. The twins arrive, and the family feels whole for the first time in years. Andy sees how profoundly his life has changed. Once driven solely by work and ambition, he now values family, responsibility, and presence. By the end, Andy Goodrich is transformed. The collapse of his marriage, caring for the twins, reconnecting with Grace, and welcoming a grandchild have reshaped him. What seemed the worst period of his life became the moment that forced him to grow.